Hey guys, Ernie here. Welcome to the Paleo Hiker MD channel. We're going to do our first question and answer today. I'm out shooting the video and I'm waiting for this meat to cook. So I thought, you know what? Let's shoot the question and answer video today. It's a nice setting. I'm out here, some land that I have access to. It's working really well so far. It's quiet, it's private, it's peaceful. And I'll probably be here as night falls tonight and just kind of enjoy myself. But let's do a question and answer. A couple days ago I put a video out and I asked for questions you guys may have about me, about whatever it might be. So we're gonna go through them, try to get through as many as I possibly can without rambling incessantly. So we'll start with probably the most commonly asked question. Robert Jeffrey, amongst other, asked, do an overview of the paleo diet. What are its benefits? So just a real quick kind of synopsis of what the paleo diet is. It's called paleo because theoretically people say, well, it's what the cavemen would eat. I beg to differ. I believe strongly that if the cavemen walked into a cave and found a freezer full of Haagen-Dazs, they would have eaten it. So really it's more a matter of eating real, unprocessed food. And that's really what paleo is all about. You eat meat, fruit, vegetables, no dairy products, no pasta, no rice, no carbohydrates, very few carbohydrates unless they are natural in, say, a vegetable or a fruit. And even those, you want to kind of minimize them. What are the benefits of this? Well, first of all, I think you feel a lot better. I think that once you get the carbohydrates are very addictive. That's very well known in medicine, in science. It's not talked about a lot. Many years ago, the idea that fat was the devil kind of took over, and people feel like fat is the cause of heart disease and fat is the cause of all these things. The truth is that being fat is the problem, and the way you get fat is by overeating carbohydrates. There's lots of great books about this. I recommend It Starts With Food by Melissa Hartwig. I believe it's called The Paleo Solution by Rob Wolf and Lorraine Cordain. Those are kind of the basic tenets of paleo. But in general, what paleo is a ultra low carb diet. It normalizes blood sugars, it decreases inflammation in the body, and overall makes you feel better. Don R. Frazier asks, hey Doc, what in your opinion is the best trail in Louisiana? I'm from New Orleans and have done a lot of Louisiana trails, but still looking for that special one. Well, I'll tell you, Don, my favorite trail is the Backbone Trail in Kostashie Hills. It's just northwest of Alexandria. There's the Carolyn Dorman Trail and the Backbone Trail. I really think the Backbone Trail is the most interesting in Louisiana because it has elevations. It you can camp up on a ridge that looks out, almost looks like Arkansas. It's really amazing. There's lots of rock formations. I've never seen another trail like that here in Louisiana, so that's my pick for you. Mo Lee 9832 asks, hey there, what made you get into camping and bushcraft? Were you a Boy Scout? I was not a Boy Scout. My son is a Boy Scout. He's just moving into Webelos, first year Webelos. I'm not 100% sure what got me into the outdoors. I've always liked being outside. As a kid, I did not spend a lot of time hiking and stuff, but I spent a lot of time in the woods behind my house, and I really enjoyed that. Played with axes, sharp things that, you know, back then as an 8 or 10-year-old boy was no big deal. And I really enjoyed it. As I got older, you know, I was searching for something. I've always been someone who has to do things. I'm always finding new things to do. And I landed on survival. It kind of started with preparedness, the concept of being prepared as a family. That moved into self-reliance, understanding how to do things. And I found the YouTube community, and I really started to try to learn a lot, read a lot of books about bushcraft, watched as many videos as I could, and just started to try to learn it. And just kind of fell in love with doing it. So that's how I got into it. I got into it basically as an extension of getting prepared. Team Clutch 21, what ferro rod do you use? Also, it would be great if you could recommend me a cheap folding knife. Cheap folding knife, I would recommend an Open L number 8, an Open L number 6. I almost always carry my Open L. It's an Open L number 8, it's my favorite size. It's a cheap folding knife. As far as a ferro rod, go no farther than Nathan 4071 on eBay. Just search for Nathan 4071. He's the best vendor out there. EDC Adventures, Ethan, if you had to get rid of all of your gear, what 5 things would you keep? You know, I would keep a container, probably my Pathfinder school a canteen cup. If I had to keep one knife, I would probably keep the knife that was made by the Average Iowa guy on here on YouTube. He did an amazing job. It's a custom one-off knife, bushcraft knife, really nice. I love having saws and axes. My Silky saw, the axe I brought today, which is my Les Stroud Wetterlings axe, is really, really nice. And probably my Super Monster ferro rod from Nathan. It's pretty awesome. It's huge. It's fun. What I like most is making fires and processing wood and just spending time in nature. So it would make sense, I think, to do that. I guess I need a backpack, and of course, I'll incorporate all of my Hidden Woodsman gear from Malcolm as one particular piece of gear. Morgan at Rogue Preparedness. Do you find the paleo diet to be challenging as someone who enjoys the outdoors, or is it just second nature and no big deal? What's your favorite camping paleo meal? It is challenging to follow the paleo diet on the trail or outdoors. Paleo is all about fresh foods, and you know, obviously shelf life is an issue. Whenever you are outdoors, it's very difficult to keep things fresh. If you're going for the day, you can do things like these steaks that I'm cooking, and it's not that big of a deal. My favorite paleo meals to go makes dehydrated meals that are exceptional. Otherwise, I like snacking on beef jerky, preferably homemade beef jerky. Dana Landry, hello, I love your videos. I wonder how you make coffee during your bushcraft outings. Dana, I don't know how much of my videos you've seen, but if you look back through things, there's probably 10 videos on 10 different ways to make coffee. Truthfully, any way is good. In general, all kidding aside, a lot of times I will just bring Starbucks Via and combine it with heavy cream that I bring with me. Recently, I got the GSI Ultralight Java Drip, which I highly recommend. I'll be showing it in a video probably in the next couple of weeks. It is really cool. That's my new favorite way to make coffee on the trail. This is kind of a toughie. Abner Galdos says he's a one kind of guy, meaning he likes one of each item. Like what backpack would I take? What cooking gear would I take? A backpack, if I was going for a day hike, there's no doubt that I'd bring my day ruck from the Hidden Woodsman. As far as a cook kit, I love my canteen kit from the Pathfinder School. I'm really, really itching to get a heavy cover titanium canteen kit, and I will get one at some point this year, probably. Just bite the bullet and get it. It seems like it's awesome. It's like 1 ounce or something crazy. I mean, it's really, really good. So I'm probably gonna get one of those. Probably not 1 ounce, but it's really pretty light. The saw I like the most is the Silky saw. The axe that I like the most is my Les Stroud Wetterlings. I think it's called the Bushcraft axe or Wilderness axe. My favorite tarp is probably my Mama Jumba tarp. There's just a long list of things. Big guys outdoors. Keep up the great work. My question is, how do the survival backpacking meals fit with the paleo diet? Thanks. Come camp in Blackwater Forest, Pensacola sometime. Well, big guys, I would love to. I mean, obviously you can't eat paleo and eat, mountain house meals or whatever. The truth is, when you're on the trail, look, the paleo lifestyle is something that you do your best to follow. You don't, I don't overly worry about it. I think it's easy to, sorry guys, I need to flip my meat here. I think it's easy to overly worry about paleo. I try not to. I try not to make it into something that is a burden per se. If I'm going out for a day hike, or if I'm going out for a backpacking trip, I have no problem whatsoever eating a mountain house meal. It is of course not paleo, and there's no way to do that, but I don't think that being a complete stickler makes a lot of sense. It's hard to, like I talked about in Morgan's question, it's hard to incorporate paleo on the trail. I did just finish up a video on homemade dehydrated paleo backpacking meals that I made, which are pretty cool, and I think they came out really good, so that'll be coming out on the channel soon. Gary A. Hey Ernie, first thanks for the energy and advice you put into your channel. I've been subscribed for about 6 months or so. I enjoy your work. He's a transplant from the UK living in Pennsylvania, beautiful area, Pennsylvania. So far I've done a fair amount of day hiking. Overnighting in the wilds would be a new concept for me, although I'm inspired to try it because of your channel. Can you describe your first solo overnighting adventure and perhaps some prep going into it? Sure. As a kid, we went on some overnight adventures. They were basically car camping and stuff. My first real overnight adventure for me was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I carried way too much weight, like probably everybody does. My tent was really big. I had pretty heavy gear. It wasn't a very fun experience. Because of that, I mean, my back hurt, and I thought, this is miserable. And it took me about a year to get back on the trail after that. And I think it's a great question on your end. I mean, I didn't have any problems from the standpoint of being concerned out in the wild or being uncomfortable. I wasn't prepared. In particular, I wasn't prepared from the standpoint of weight. And obviously I wasn't in shape to get out there and do that. I had a wonderful time, and looking back on it, I think it was funny and fun at the same time. I didn't make videos back then, although it would have been a very funny video. But I walked out into the wilderness here in Kostashie National Forest and had no plan whatsoever, and carried a bunch of weight, and took my Mountain House meals. It was a nightmare. I couldn't figure out how to turn on my stove. I bought this cheap stove. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to things. And that would be my advice when you're prepping. Watch videos, learn from other people. You don't have to spend tons of money on ultralight gear, but you can afford these days decent weight gear. And I would suggest that. I would suggest for the first trip that you go someplace relatively close. Don't hike more than a couple of miles. Make sure you're close to your car. Make sure you're close so you have a cell phone so you feel comfortable, and just try to enjoy it the best you can, and then step up as you go along. It's good to enjoy, your first time and not make it into something that's gonna, I could have easily never gone back after my first experience. John Tarbox, how do you prepare for emergencies such as a compound fracture when out in the woods alone? I assume you are sometimes out of range of cell phone service. How do you have any way of summon help? What about medical supplies, trauma kit? You never are ever prepared for a compound fracture anywhere. I do. When I do, I know kind of in general where I get cell phone signal. When I go on longer trips, I have a spot messenger. I'll put a picture of it up here. It's a handheld personal survival beacon, basically. You pay a subscription service. You can also pre-program messages. I can push a button and it'll send a message to my wife by email saying I'm okay, I'm at camp. There aren't a lot of options on that. You have 2 or 3 options, but it does give her the peace of mind. She also can log on and with GPS actually track where I am. It has an SOS button on there, so as long as you have it on your body or close to you, if you do hurt yourself and you have a serious situation, you push that button and it automatically notifies emergency services in the area, and of course they have an exact location because you have a GPS device on you. If you're going to get out in the wild and you're going to spend time doing things like this, especially in areas that you don't know super well, I highly recommend it. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it. It was about $150, but it's definitely worth peace of mind. My wife basically said it was a necessity if I was going to keep going out. Thomas Allen, what branch of medicine are you in? I am board certified in internal medicine and sleep medicine. I practice traditional internal medicine, so I go to the hospital and go to my office every day, and I also spend about 50% of my time doing sleep medicine. Elder hiker, what preparation training experience led you to the point of producing your own videos? I have no preparation or training in either making videos or in bushcraft. Just getting out there and doing it. Watching videos, enjoying other people's videos, and practicing. What made me do YouTube? It's fun. I don't know what else to say. Like I said earlier, I almost have to have a reason to do things. I want to continue to you seeing the smoke here? Are you seeing the smoke? I just decided I wanted to make videos. It's just one of those things that I guess you just decide you want to do. It's a challenge to me, not only the bushcraft itself, but the videos. I go back and I watch some of my first videos and they're so bad. And they're still not great, but they're better than they were back then. Spider 5001, hey friend, what is your favorite piece of gear and what got you started into hiking and bushcraft? We talked a little bit about what got me started into hiking and bushcraft. Again, it was more of a, one is a way to get outside and enjoy nature, and second as a way to improve my preparedness. My favorite piece of gear, once again I will say, all of my Hidden Woodsman gear from Malcolm. That's one piece of gear. I'm considering that one piece of gear. Bobby Harper, What do you think of these Ultra Zero Drop trail shoes that are very popular, and could zero drop affect peroneal tendonitis? I don't know a lot about the Ultra Zeros. I can tell you that I use these Solomons, but I've seen so much about these Ultra Zeros that I will be purchasing some. Planning on going on a trip with my daughter next year to Colorado and going up in the mountains, pretty high elevation, to do some hiking, and I will be getting some Ultra Zeros. So stay tuned, I'll let you know. As far as the peroneal tendonitis, certainly it could help. It all depends on your foot, your type of, your gait, and how you put your weight on your foot. Go to a really reputable shoe dealer, shoe store. They can help you find the right trail shoe for you. Palmetto Paratrooper, when you come across wild edibles, do you ever take cuttings and attempt to propagate them on your property? No, I don't. What would you say to someone who wants to start doing outdoors videos? How should I start? This is from Random Guy 220. Just start. This is just fun. I mean, for me especially, I have a full-time job. I'm an internist, practice sleep medicine, like I said earlier. This is all just a hobby for me. And if you're interested in making videos, guarantee you that people who watch your videos will learn something from you. They may learn the right thing, they may learn the wrong thing, but both of those things could be very valuable. I'm sure people have watched my videos and learned the wrong things at times. I hope they've learned the right things at times. So what inspires you? Just get out there and do it. I would suggest just making your first video. YouTube is, if you get into YouTube to make money, if you get into YouTube to float your boat, you're not going to do well. YouTube has to be something you want to do. Most of us that make YouTube money, we don't make much money. Trust me, it's not really helping my income at all. Phyllis Mulkey, do you have a family plan of bugging out? Especially cook kits for family, bug out bags, sleep system, food? Absolutely. We have all of the above. We have a family bug out bag. We have one bug out bag for my wife and I, and each child has their own individual bug out bags. We have a detailed family plan. We have an exit plan. We have meeting sites. If I am away, where am I going to meet my family? We have places to go out of town. Everyone is going to be different on that, but I highly suggest you do that. There's no doubt whatsoever that you need to have a plan in case of an emergency. And you have to remember that in an emergency, it's very possible that there will be no communications. Neil Cotter, do you have some kind of medical degree? We talked about that. If so, will you be doing any videos on health or first aid on the trail? Boy, I don't like doing anything about medicine on YouTube. No, too much liability. AG Survival, who are some of your favorite YouTube channels to watch and learn from? Favorite YouTube channels at the moment? Joe Robinette, TA Outdoors. That's from the standpoint of outdoor stuff. Syndex 77 is great. Adventure Archives are amazing. Those guys are great. Tim Watson, Rogue Preparedness. Morgan's really, really good. Probably leave some people out, but there's a lot of really good stuff. From the standpoint of really learning bushcraft, I think Joe Robinette, TA Outdoors are really, really good. They teach things well, and I like them. From the standpoint of just, like making things, I love making stuff. I like to make stuff. Jimmy DiResta, if y'all have not checked out Jimmy DiResta's channel, make sure you do it. Bob Claggett, I like to make stuff. Make Something with Dave Picciuto, but those are my favorite channels. Alf3553. You have the Toke 750 pot cup. In your cook kick videos, you've added a 450 cup and a cozy and the silicone hot lips. For a few more grams weight, you can use the GSI Infinity cup. It's a cozy cup and lid. It's a perfect fit. Really? Well, I'll have to check that out because I do in fact have a GSI Infinity cup. I will check that out, Alf. That is an excellent idea. And Yates, I enjoy your videos. I stayed over in Texas. I have often contemplating doing YouTube videos myself and started making videos and then never did post them. So kudos to you and keep it up. I like them. What kind of camera do you use, and do you film it yourself, or do you have someone else helping you? I have a large production company that follows me everywhere. No, actually I use a Panasonic G7. I used to use just a camcorder, and it worked well, but the quality, I hope you guys have noticed the quality like in the last year, but I use a Panasonic G7. It's kind of the cheapest 4K video there is as far as a video camera. It's kind of it's called a Micro Four Thirds camera. It's not a DSLR. It is mirrorless, and it is It puts out, I think, really high quality videos. The cost is tolerable. I think that the camera itself was maybe like $500, $600 with 2 lenses. So for the quality, it's pretty good. It's not the best video camera, but I've made it work. And then, let's see, John Campbell said, hey Ken, just wanted to say, post the vids. I agree. Any camping videos are good videos. And you won't learn or improve if you don't post them. David Moore, a question on paleo diet. What do you think of the paleo frozen meals in stores? I've had a couple. They don't taste great, but they're better than a lot of the other stuff. So if that's all you got, go for it. And lastly, Valis Bike. Hi, I'm from Portugal. What's your opinion about the practice of backpacking as a complement to people who want to acquire survival and bushcraft skills? Thanks. Your channel is awesome. Well, thanks, Valis. I appreciate you saying that. I think that it all goes together. Survival, bushcraft, backpacking, hiking. It's all about going outdoors and enjoying nature. It's just, I think it's perfect. I think it all comes together perfectly. And why not just enjoy nature and get out there and do stuff? And it seems like a natural progression. In many ways, that's exactly what I did. Like I said, I started with more preparedness and survival. That got me into bushcraft. That got me into hiking and backpacking. And it all comes together because you can combine these things. You can go out on a backpacking trip. You can make it into a bushcraft trip. Take minimal gear and take a wool blanket and all those things. I don't do a lot of that stuff simply because I live in a warm climate and there's bugs everywhere. And it's not easy. It's not fun to go out in 80-degree weather, 85-degree weather, and sleep out in the woods a lot. I do mainly in the winter, and that's just the way it is. But I think it's great. I think it's great for people to get involved in any way possible. Any way you can get outside, hike, backpack, bushcraft, whatever it is, I'm all for it. Guys, I really am overwhelmed. Lots of great questions. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to keep it as short as I could, and I know that I did not keep it as short as I should. We'll do another question and answer maybe a couple months. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really appreciate all the questions. If you haven't already, subscribe, like the video, all those things. I hope y'all learned a little bit. What we'll do is, if there's more questions, if you think of more questions and you've gotten to the end of this video, go ahead at the bottom, put more questions, and I'll do another question and answer video down the road. Thanks for watching, guys.